Welcome back to GCTV Live Studio. Welcome back to the O2 Arena here in Prague. We are at the halfway point of the GCL Super Cup final. Just 6 more teams, 3 riders per team, and a second round to go until we officially crown a 2023 Super Cup champion and bring the curtain down on what has been a fascinating season. Some surprises already in the opening round, some interesting decisions, and some costly errors for a handful of teams in the starting lineup. Let's show you the results, how it looks at the end of round 1, and give you an idea as to how it will look then going into the second round. This is what it looks like following the opening round. Riesemack International, the fastest of the only 2-4s. Valkenswaard United, after struggles in the semi-finals and quarter-final, all of a sudden look very, very sharp. Paris Panthers, uncharacteristic from Ben Mayer, 2 faults from him. Saint-Tropez Pirates struggling, Prague Lions struggling, and unfortunately Madrid in motion. O'Bailey in particular, with Michael van der Vleuten having a very tough time. And because of that, big penalties for Madrid Emotion, who unfortunately in their quest to become a 2-time Super Cup champion, seem to have lost the opportunity to do so tonight. We will take a look at some of these rounds. We will hear from the Saint-Tropez Pirates, from Valkenswaard United, and from the Paris Panthers, as well as from Frederik de Backer standing by for us inside the commentary seat, because I want some reaction. Frederik, let's get started. 2 horse changes tonight. 2 very costly horse changes, it seems. Let's talk about those 2 in particular for the for Prague Lions and for Madrid Emotion. Big mistakes there, surely.
I wouldn't say so, because if you look, for example, at Prague Lions, where Fernando Martinez Sommer came in with a score of 24 of Korbacher in the semi-final, now reducing that to 8 on high 5 is maybe not a bad choice. At least it's an improvement. Of course, they want them to jump clear. Even a 4 would be better, that's obvious. But maybe that is not such a bad choice to bring in high 5 in the place of Fernando Martinez Sommer's Korbacher. If you talk about Beauville Z NOP, that is not the horse for Michael van der Vleuten this time around. It was the horse O'Bailey van het Brouwershof. Yeah,
we knew it was going to be a struggle, didn't we? We knew it was going to be a struggle for Michael.
There we go, and it's also understandable because he could not have done it. Beauville had jumped the semi-final. Beauville had jumped 2 rounds in the Super Cup. It was simply not possible. So rather than it being a wrong horse change, you could question, is it a wrong rider choice coming here for the entire Super Cup? Should there have been another rider? Eduardo Alvarez Aznar, of course, has sold his 2 very good horses, Enjoy Lamure and Mathieu de Sury. Dorion Battery probably not feeling in the right form, but was there then no other horse available with capacities to jump here this final? The answer is no, because otherwise Eric van der Vleuten would have done it. But purely horse-wise, they had to make this choice, and it turns out wrong, but they had to make it. Which is basically the same situation with Fernando Martinez Sommer.
Would it have been a smaller risk to try jump O'Bailey in the semi-final, risk maybe not getting into the final, but having Beauville fit for tonight?
That is a very good question, and that's only an answer that Eric van der Vleuten could give us, but that makes absolutely sense. I don't know if O'Bailey didn't feel well already on Friday in the semi-final to just jump that first round. Maybe was a little bit sketchy. I don't know. I don't have an explanation for it. Only Eric van der Vleuten can tell us. But there has to be a reason. But your reasoning is absolutely right. If both horses were both fit, and it's always with hindsight.
Always.
Don't get that wrong. It's always with hindsight. That is a remark that you can make.
You and I have that benefit for sure. Uncharacteristic faults as well for Ben Mayer, 2 going down. We don't see that very often from that pairing. Paris Panthers still in it? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes,
I believe so. It all depends on what Ujana Vizzani is going to build behind me. He's already begun with his team to construct the course for the next round. Depending on what he is going to build, is he going to build it more for time or more for power? That is a very big question, but it all depends on what is there to jump. But with it's 3 riders on a team, it's every result counting, and we've seen how silly faults can occur. Talk about the 4 of Gilles Thomas at the final fence, the first fence for Niels Bruinseels, the first fence for Simon de Lestre. It can all turn around so quickly, because now all these horses have jumped at least 2 rounds. Some horses have jumped 3 rounds. Now it's about who has the fittest horse and the most focused brain as a rider, because also these riders have been here for 3 days. It's been long, 4 days rather. It's been long days. They have even traveled here on Wednesday already, so long days. And now they have to stay sharp, have that fittest horse that works with them, and that'll make the difference. Not so much the course, now that I come to think about it, it'll more be about the fittest horses.
I'm glad that you touched on Gilles Thomas, Frederick, because I want to ask you one final question before I let you go. After what seemed to be a struggle quarter-final, perhaps not looking so comfortable in the semi-final, Valkenswaard United all of a sudden seem to be bringing their best to the final. Only a final fence going down is the only penalty count that they pick up. What a wonderful turnaround of events for Valkenswaard United, now finally going on to look for a title tonight.
Absolutely, it is very well possible. They are last to go. Riesenbeck International, they're second last to go. Riesenbeck International is last to go. Like I mentioned in commentary, we've had 4 finals, and in 3 occasions it was the last team to go that actually secured the win in the Super Cup final. So the advantage slightly on the side of Riesenbeck International, but Valkenswaard United come out truly, truly strong. The only time that the last team to go didn't win it was in 2019, when Can Stars were the last team to go. At that point, it was Shanghai Swans who were leading, and Can Stars, from last team to go, from a potential GCL Super Cup win, they dropped to second place, to third place, and after their third round, they were even off the podium. So it just shows that historically, the advantage is for the team that is last to go, but it's very well possible that the last team not only loses the title, but also loses the podium.
Should be a fascinating second round. Freddy Tobacco, turn around, get back to work. We'll join you for the commentary again in a few moments' time for the second round of the GCL Super Cup final. Let's talk about Riesenbeck International, trying to shake off this curse, trying to become the first team to ever do the GCL double, going on to win the seasonal title and come to Prague and become Super Cup champions. Ludger Beerbaum living and breathing absolutely every single moment, lived and felt. There is the younger brother of Owen McMahon, enjoying and appreciating the clear from his brother on Mila. Christian Kukuk brings back Checker. We saw Simal in the LGCT Super Grand Prix final. Now Checker comes back, a penalty count for him of 4, and Philip Weishout on this incredible Zinedine, despite some touches, keeping it clear, leaving Riesenbeck International on 4 and being faster than Valkenswaard United. They are now the leading team in pole position. It is fist pumps all round for Riesenbeck International, and even Owen McMahon, Ludger Beerbaum, high fives, clapping, round of applause. The team are halfway there, but there's still a lot of jumping to follow. Valkenswaard United are going to be the team that's going to keep them on their toes. They will be knocking on the door. Let's show you what took place for Valkenswaard United. As we said, struggles in the quarters, struggles in the semis. They seem to have a breath of fresh air. Marcus Eining and Star Gold coming through with a wonderful clear. No between the tops Alexander. Gilles Thomas, the young under 25-year-old Belgian, gone into the second lineup. Gilles Thomas has the final fence down, and it takes Valkenswaard United to a penalty count of 4 after the superb clear. Look at that from between the tops Alexander. Applause as well from Jan Tops. He knows that it is the perfect start from the veteran, and a big smile on his face after a difficult few days as well in Global Champions League. Gilles Thomas with the opening jump over Longines. My word, how he clears that, we have no idea. The fault eventually coming here in the final line and knocking down the final fence for a frustrating 4 for him. And that takes Valkenswaard United to that penalty count of 4. And then, much like Marcus Eining, if you can call upon John Whittaker, call upon Equine America Unique de Frampont, and go on and deliver another clear, it keeps Valkenswaard United on that count of 4. We caught up with Edwina Tops Alexander.
Angelica, a tough round for the Saint-Tropez Pirates first round.
Yeah.
What did you think of it? What did you make of it?
I think they all jumped good. It's all about small details now. It was a very nice round from Ben and Garrett. That was really good. Simon had a stupid railer number 1. Marlon's horse also jumped good. He was maybe a little bit far up from the last jump, which I think he blamed himself. But for the rest, the horse looked good. So it's still three rounds to come. So try to keep it together.
Good luck for round 2.
Thank you.
No, Edwin Tops Alexander, Angelica Augustin Zanotelli, in fact, giving us some thoughts and some reaction on the Saint-Tropez Pirates. They have had somewhat of a difficult day. An 8 for Marlon Zanotelli, a 4 for Simon de Lestre, but a wonderful clear for Gerrit Nieberg leaves Saint-Tropez Pirates on 12 and arguably out of the running for the podium. Although we know with the massive second round to come, who knows what might be enough to get onto the podium. The Paris Panthers had 2 back-to-back clears of Gregory Watley and Harry Smolders. Unfortunately for Ben Mayer and Faltic HB, very uncharacteristic errors there. Gregory Watley on James Bond, superbly so, opening it up on his 12-year-old bay, delivering a clear despite some touches, some rubs, some nicks, but he gets over the line and keeps the score on 0. Harry Smolders brings back Eurikas. We saw Monaco in the LGCT Super Grand Prix. Eurikas jumping GCL duty now makes a return in the final again. And in true Harry Smolders fashion, much like we saw throughout the entire season, Harry Smolders again delivering the goods and delivering the clear for the Paris Panthers. Unfortunately for Ben Mayer, who was then the last to go, the anchorman for the team, there were some uncharacteristic faults for him and Faltic HB. Not a single rail going down. In fact, in this triple combination, it's that one, the center and the final, both going down for Ben Mayer. And that round quickly turning from a possible triple clear to 8 penalty counts. But according to Frederick de Backer, they are still very much in the hunt with a big second round to follow, being overlooked by practically the entire lineup, not just Riesenbach International, Falkenswart United in there, Saint-Tropez Pirates as well. We caught up with Rob Hoekstra to get some thoughts, to get some reaction to that performance from the Paris Panthers.
It was all going so well there, Rob. What happened at the end there?
Yeah, I mean, the first 2 obviously jumped unbelievable, and Bainsworth jumped very well. He got a little bit stuck on the Oxer before the combination, and he couldn't quite get back into enough rhythm, I think, in the turn. And then the Oxers got a bit wide. Yeah, it's one of those things that happened.
Time to regroup and get ready for round 2.
Yeah, okay, another round to go. So,
Well done.
Well, welcome back. This is, of course, the reaction from Rob Hoekstra and the Paris Panthers. They now head into that second round on 8 penalty counts. It's going to be an intriguing second round, that is for sure. I hope that you have your GCTV pass ready. I hope that you have signed up, and I hope that you are ready for that second round of Global Champions League Super Cup final action. A champion is going to be decided tonight. Unlikely that Madrid will make it a 2-time champion. Is it going to be a first-timer? Well, it certainly looks like it. Riesenbach International, do they break the curse? Paris Panthers, do they keep the curse on them? Or is it Falkenswart United, the team that has now appeared in 5 GCL Super Cup finals? Will they finally get their hand on that trophy? We will find out. We're back in 20 minutes for the pre-show for Global Champions League Round 2. Enjoy some highlights. We're back in a moment.
Elegance is an attitude.
Of course it is.
Out of the corner, out of the corner, quite blind, 7 strides. And Now he's jumping a cracking round. Holding 6, little bit of leg to make sure he stays against the bridle. Out of the turn, time allowed 72 seconds. That's not an issue this time. Bruinseels and Deluxe, only the first fence. Only the first fence, ladies and gentlemen. 67.85. Oh, and he's hungry. It is the kind of fault you want in the warm-up for your horse to be awake and fresh, reactive to what is going to happen inside the ring. Dutch brand that he owns himself, he produced himself, stays low with the vertical, rattles the woodwork again, keeps that up, goes outside, nice corner from FMS. He's got 2 fences to jump, 1 down. After disappointments of the previous days, it's not a bad result. This plank stays standing, moves a bit to the outside to give leg to the oxer. Oh, and he pushes that as he gives the leg, and that makes it 8 for him. A good comeback from Fernando Martinez Sommer after disappointments of round or the quarter and semi-finals. But not really what they are looking for in the bigger light of things. And it's down. Landed to the right, should have landed to the left. And then the lead change took a bit of time to come through. 7-8 strides before it was there. And then unbalanced through the turn. Very late 6. Little touch at Charles Bridge. Time allowed as set 72 seconds. The Vos at the plank. Moms to Pied La Roque. They haven't got any clears so far. And it is 4 penalties for the Belgian. It is 4 to add. That makes it 16 in total for the Czech team. Prague Lions powered by the Czech equestrian team. 16 penalties. Big touch, but still clear. And another one. Is he running out of luck? Marco Zening, who is himself, wow, beautiful reaction. Did you see how he gave leg in those 2 strides and Stargold reacted, shooting forward in the 2 strides, but then not getting flat at the jump. Eding is heading for the first clear, and it's going to be a very fast one. There is Marcus Eding. No clears for him in both semi and quarters, but now, and it's really important, he steps up, and Marcus Eding rides the first clear of the final. Triple. This is that oxen, and just like Stargold, he rides her forward and she moves forward. Still has the balance for the upright. Are they going to jump 2 clears now all of a sudden? She nearly locks onto the wrong fence. Keeps her away from the plank. 1 fence left to jump. Time allowed is not an issue. Gilles Thomas, no, on the back rail on the very deep stride. At this pace, I think he's a second inside the time allowed. But he can't use up any more time. He's a touch slow. That's a rub at the top rail and at the front rail. And not at the back. Whittaker, extra stride here again. 72 seconds, time allowed, comes through the turn, waits again. Is he going to make it? It'll be just, but only just. John Whittaker, 72, time allowed. At the finish, it is 70.75. And Valkenswaard United have jumped 2 clears in the first round of the Super Cup final. The stretch. It was a 4 penalty round in the semi-final. Wow, that's a beautiful forward approach, a touch deep though. And now she'll have to stretch. All on the holding 6 to Charles Bridge, and no issues so far. On Charles Bridge, 1 fence left to jump, and this is another very fast round. Owen McMahon with Mila, first clear on the board, and the flags come up. The Berlin Eagle fans, the Irish fans have brought out their flags to the O2 Arena. Deep to the plank and twisting in his shoulder. There's more room for the shoulder at the oxen. Again, he has to slow down as Checker gets strong. His lower jaw shifting slightly, coming through the turn. Oh, what What a jump over that center rocks, and here again, but he might fly out of the turn. Holds him at 6, very deep again to Charles Bridge, with two fences left to jump, one line left to jump. Little bit stuck there in the turn. Somewhat of an awkward jump over the upright, and there is then that final fence with 4 penalties in time. Christian Kukuk and Checker keep the team on 4. Oh, the ability, so deep to that Oxer. You have to see in the replay how that body worked, how those mechanics worked through that shoulder, that front leg of Zinedine, trademark of one of the best 9-year-old horses in the world. And after 16 in the semis, it is a clear now in the final, and they are 4 seconds faster than Valkenswaard, taking the lead so far after the first 3 teams in this final. He's got an enormous lineup behind him. Oh, and there goes the back wheel as he also has to push in those 2 strides afterwards. Probably was a little bit wary about the space that he would have in the first part of the triple. Now he goes nice and wide to set Grand Slam up for the plank. Waits once, goes to the outside to find some room. Nearly, yeah, you could see it. He went to the outside. Grand Slam struggled with the canter, and then jumped from outside to inside, cut the corner, and though he jumped a good round, Marlon Modolo Zalotelli with Grand Slam comes short as they finish on 8 penalties. Oh, big touch, drifts to the outside, 460, all fly slightly out of the turn, making the 6 actually a little bit easier. He makes a tighter turn to the plank, and does he have the power still on? Here comes Nieberg with a much needed clear. There it is, Gerrit Nieberg, 65.98 seconds, and Gerrit Nieberg has jumped his first clear of the weekend after jumping for 12 in the quarters and 8 in the semi. What does he do into the triple? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, holding for the 8. Gets a bit strong through the turn, mouth slightly open, leaves the plank, also goes to the outside, somewhat similar to Marlon Zalotelli, over the back rail this time. And so 4 penalties, Simon Lestre, Dexter Fontenay, only the clear from Gerrit Nieberg for Saint-Tropez Pirates. And with that slightly open push now, the first part of the combination might get tricky for the very big stallion. We are talking just under meter 80. Oh, but the ability of this big horse is every time again surprising. When you see him come in, you don't understand how he can be so fast in his reflexes at times. And Gregory Watle jumps a clear for Paris Panthers. Extra stride him, and now with the leg on, can he get those back rails? Just like Stargold and those reactive horses, moves forward as soon as he sees the 2 strides. And Harry Smulders is on clear. And how is he for the clock? He's good for the clock, no problems for the time of 72 seconds. There's 1 fence left to jump, nice and straight, squares up. Smulders is clear. And they have to make a left turn next, little rub at the front rail. Oh, he's stuck deep at the base. There goes the back wheel, and now level. Oh, and another one. A reason back wheel lead going into the second round as Ben Meer drops 2 rails, 2 back rails in the big triple combination with Faltic HB. No clear this time around. He was clear in the semi-final and not clear in the first round of the final. 8 penalties for Ben Meer with Faltic HB. Oh, and there goes another one. You could see 2 strides out that the mare was a little bit shy. Macaulay with more leg. I don't know if we can bring that to your screen in the replays. but there was lots of action there in those last 2 strides from Macaulay, who also there over those 2 strides to the final oxer in the triple combination, tries to get the mare to stretch over the oxers. Madrid in motion sit on 8 penalties, and Riesenbeck International, powered by Kingsland, will be last to go in the final, in the second round of the Super Cup final. 8 penalties, GRS Lady Amaro for Mark Macaulay. Gets a bit strong, he lost his stirrup, his right stirrup is loose. It's dangling alongside the flanks of the mare, who is so sensitive. And he still lost it, it's still not there. Still not a foot in the stirrup, and so it comes undone for Madrid in motion as Jack Whittaker rides half the course without a stirrup and finishes with the slowest 8 penalties of the competition, and puts the team now in the danger zone. The risk to finish last in round 1. A fresh horse, as we saw it with the previous horses, is sometimes a bit of an issue in round 1, comes in handy for round 2. This is not a sprint, this is a marathon. And there goes the front trailer. Now they'll drop to last as another fun comes down. Madrid in motion from leaders go all the way down as Michael van der Vleuten now sits on 12 penalties as O'Bailey makes it with his big stride into the final line, and 28, oh no, that is 32 the score for O'Bailey and for Michael van der Vleuten. A bad day at the office for all of them, literally.
Elegance is an attitude.
Of course it is.
Elegance is an attitude.
Of course it is.
Welcome back to GCTV and welcome back to the beautiful city of Prague here at the O2 Arena that houses us once again for the GC Prague playoffs. We are down into the final straight. We are into the final stretch. The last 100 meters of this marathon season will finally be completed over the next few hours. As you can see behind me, the riders who are competing in today's GCL Super Cup final are busy conducting their final course walk ahead of the second round. A lot has happened in that first round. Let's show you the results and remind you as to how things stand now at the end of round 1. Riesenbeck International and Falkenswart United, the only 2 teams on 4. The 2023 GCL champions, the fastest of those 4s. Paris Panthers clears for Gregory Watley and for Harry Smolders, and a rather Uncharacteristic 8 for Ben Mayer. Difficulty for Madrid Emotion, O'Bailey and Michael van der Vleuten picking up heavy penalty counts. And unfortunately for the Prague Lions, they too were unable to try and keep matters clean. A 4 for Niels Bruinseels, an 8 for Fernando Martinez Soma, and a 4 for Peter de Vos as well. Puts them in a difficult position on 16 penalties. They will be the second team to go after Madrid Emotion, after going on and dominating, absolutely dominating the semi-final. Madrid Emotion now finding life a little bit difficult in the final. Mark McCauley, after jumping that perfect round, now comes home on 8. Jack Whittaker on 8. And as we said, Michael van der Vleuten and O'Bailey, 16 penalties costing Madrid Emotion dearly. If you recall, throughout the build-up of the week, we've been talking about this GCL curse that has been sitting on the shoulders of the season champions from the start of the Global Champions League back in 2016. Since then, no seasonal champion has ever gone on to win the Super Cup. So every team that has won the GCL title has been unable to perform the double, come to Prague and win the GCL Super Cup. Riesemark International this season, after dominating and shattering every record that we've seen, are trying to break that curse, and they go into GCL second round of the Super Cup final in pole position. Can they finally do it? Well, let's remind you as to how previous champions have failed to do so.
Ben Mayer with the Poded Farms Explosion W. Oh, doesn't like the wall.
There we are. We've seen it all over these last few days. You can't...
no! Well, would you believe it? Martin Fuchs with Clooney. That is it!
That's it.
12 for the London Knights are no longer going to be any further part of the competition.
Holgerswaard United. Nice direct 6 strides. Oh, and has the BMW. Berlin Eagles. It's already 4. It's gone. Yeah.
So is there finally going to be a moment for a seasonal champion to break the curse, to win the Global Champions League and the GCL Super Cup? Tonight may well be the night, and if there were ever a team to really try and break that curse, it is the record-breaking repeat winners of Riesemark International, after winning as the Berlin Eagles previously and now as Riesemark. If there was a team to do so, it may well be them. Owen McMahon, Christian Kuckuck and Philip Weishout. Mila, Checker and Zinedine will be the combinations that will come out for Riesemark a little bit later on to try and get this team over the line. What are they fighting for? Well, there's of course money involved, and we'll talk about the money in a few moments' time. But let's talk about the prestige. Let's talk about the actual GCL Super Cup trophy that will be handed out tonight to our champions. Rosie Tapner takes a closer look at the trophy.
Well, I've been given access all areas into a very special and secret room today, because this is what the teams are fighting for. Plus 2.5 million euros to the winning team. Now, the teams can't magically take home this trophy. They will have to compete for it. And the 4 teams that have already written themselves into the history book in 2018, Shanghai Swans in 2019, we took a little break in 2020, but London Knights came back in 2021 and Miami Celtics in 2022. But who will be taking home the trophy tonight? Who will be claiming that glory, and who will be crowned the champions of the Global Champions League Super Cup 2023?
A little bit of magic from Rosie Tapner, maybe some magic from the teams coming up in the GCL Super Cup second round final here tonight. The course walk is officially underway. I know Fredrik pointed it out yesterday, I think, during the LGCT Super Grand Prix. I have never seen a course walk as busy as this in my life. Such is the popularity, such is the importance of tonight's occasion. And in fact, Fredrik de Backer is standing by for the final course walk of our entire season. In fact, Bestie, make it a good one. Fredrik de Backer standing by for today's course walk.
I have just come cruising into the arena in my beautiful Rolls Royce. Hope I parked it well. Cleaned it earlier today. Looks sparkling, doesn't it? Beautiful Rolls Royce. Can't take it home. Garage is too small. Anyways, this is fence 1. Fence 1, first Oxer. Why do we start at fence 1? Well, it jumps straight into that beautiful, big, iconic, typically Prague LED wall. And from there on, just look at how quick fence 2 comes. Oxer, and then straight away you have to start motoring and come out of the turn to that very, very tall vertical that sits at fence 2. Little bit of contrast with the white stripes. As you can see, you can straight aim for the middle, but I just want to show you that it's difficult to approach fence 1 and to find your rhythm, as you have to come through the turn for this upright. And then there's the first question mark. It will just walk it and give you a little bit of an idea where we're going and where you'll get if you ride the center line and you ride them just with a normal striding horse. If you do that with a normal striding horse, you're at 5 strides here, coming through. And this is where you are here. This is more or less where you are on 6 strides. That's not really the option, is it? So, or you have to move up on the inside and come here, more or less as point of takeoff. But it does feel kind of flat. So does that mean that you have to ride outside on the 7, especially because you don't have that rhythm in that first part? So it's difficult to find that rhythm and then straight away get moving up on 6 strides. I do feel that the 7 on the outside are a little bit easier to this Oxford Airbank that didn't jump well. I don't know if you watched yesterday's Super Grand Prix, but those fences of Airbank, they don't jump really well, especially with the Liverpool underneath. Vezzani has seen that, registered it, and made it a new fence for the second round of Global Champions League. And then there's one more line that I want to show you. And it's a little bit of an, not optical illusion, that's not the right word, but it just shows you how much detail that has to go into this course preparation. If you jump this fence straight on, you jump towards Mark's studio. Hi Mark, give us a wave, Mark. I see there's Mark in the background. So you jump into Mark's studio, but actually there's a little bit of a curve because you have to go into the double combination, so it's never a straight line. There's a little bit of a curve. Let's get walking, Roberto. Last one of the year. I hope you're fit by now. Come on, here we go. This is a line with an open 5 strides into a double combination. So this is actually, we're straight here, and now you have to make the bend. So what do? Do you jump the vertical on the angle and make it a straight line, so you come here and maybe the 5 get a little bit easier? Or do you ride the bend and get there quite flat? Now what do you get after a flat 5, an open 5 into the combination? That's a short distance inside the double of the Old Town houses. And just to make that interesting, well, it's one of the tallest verticals of the course right here. These Old Town houses at top height, 1.60 meters. There's one more slot left. That will make it too big maybe, coming in on those open 5 strides. That is, where are we? We are at 11A and 11B. So open 5 into the combination, very tall. And then Vezzani has maybe been a little bit cheeky because he gives you the idea that you're there. You're kind of open into that combination. You come flying around this turn, around the lamppost, and that is your final fence. And I don't know what you see. If you see over my shoulder, you barely see the back rail of the Czech equestrian team Oxer. I'll just bring you closer and have a look at what comes up. Have a look at what you see. You see, in the end, you see 2 rails in the middle. But it takes so long before you spot the white planks, because this is what catches your attention. This is what the horses see, this contrast. They see this very late, and once they see this and have their eye on it, there's also the back rail of the Czech equestrian team Oxer. And that is quite a bit of jumping to do. Still at the final fence. Feels a little bit like a joker fence, Mark. This is the last line to jump this year for the riders. This is the final fence of 2023. Feels a little bit like New Year's Eve, but it truly is the final fence to jump. This is Czech equestrian team I hope you're ready there in the studio, because here for us, it ends on course walk.
Thank you very much, Frederik de Backer. The final course walk for him, the final course walk for, in fact, all of the riders as we get ready to bring the curtain down on the Global Champions League season with tonight's big final round 2 of the GCL Super Cup. Those riders have done their walk, they have measured their strides, they have taken a look at every single fence that Uliana Vizzani has put together in this ring. How is it going to affect the starting lineup? How is it going to play into these riders' hands? Yes or no? We'll find out, of course, over the next hour or two. Earlier on, we spoke about the Global Champions League Super Cup trophy. And in fact, there is the bell to signify the end of the course walk. We spoke about the trophy. Rosie Tapner gave us a closer look as to what the GCL Super Cup trophy actually looks like. And we did just mention that there's going to be a little bit of money that will be throwing into that trophy as well. Let's give you a better idea, a better understanding as to what this looks like. And I want to hold this image to let it sink in for you. The total prize pool for tonight, 6.5 million euros. Are you now second-guessing your career choice? Well, certainly I am. I know Frederik de Backer and I are. 6.5 million euros up for grabs, of which the winner will grab 2.5 million euros. They will take the prestige, they will take the trophy, and as a massive paycheck as well, they will take home 2.5 million euros with it. Second place, 1.5. Third, still a very cool million euros in the pocket. And the importance of getting into the final is that even if you are in 6th place, if the provisional standings were to end now, it would mean that even Madrid Emotion would still take home 300,000 euros for qualifying for tonight's GCL Super Cup prize. So that is the money that is up for grabs, the prestige, the history, the trophy, of course, and the major prize check as well. So, as we said earlier, hang on to the seats, get a drink, get your friends, get your GCTV pass, and join us for the second round of Global Champions League Super Cup final. It is going to be a humdinger. Stay with us here on GCTV, round 2, and the champions are next.